Welcome on in, guys, to the Fairway Files presented by Three Bold Takes. We're back again. We've been gone for a while. We apologize. Life got busy, but here we are. We're in the middle of the FedEx Cup playoffs. We just wrapped up the FedEx St. Jude Championship in Memphis, Tennessee, where Lucas Glover won back to back. Ended up defeating Patrick Cantlay in a playoff. Fun fact: Patrick Cantlay had a bogey-free round. Excuse me, a bogey-free Sunday round up until the playoff hole. So when it mattered most, he couldn't get it done. But what we're going to do today is, I know the BMW is coming up this weekend. What we decided to do is we're going to kind of predict who's going to play well this upcoming weekend to vault themselves from inside the top 50 to inside the top 30 in that cut line. I've got the list pulled up here. We're kind of going to scroll down. If any names jump out, fellas, glad to just point it out and let's talk about it, right? Thank you guys for joining us, Bradley and McLovin. I failed to mention that at the beginning. I'm a terrible host here, but let's get right on into it. I'm going to pull up the list here. Starting out at 50, Patrick Rogers. I mean, anything to really say about that guy?
He needs a miracle. That's for sure. Hope and a prayer.
That's true. That's true. My man Harris English at 49th. Now he's played some good golf here the past probably 2.5 months. Um, although the last couple weeks he's kind of fallen off a little bit. But all these people that are kind of down here toward 50 is going to need a miracle. They're going to need to pretty much win the tournament. Because if you win the tournament, you get 2,000 points, as Jacob had mentioned beforehand, and all the points are quadrupled in this tournament. So huge deal here. Um, Tom Hoagie, and then this is where I kind of want to stop here for just a second, is Hideki Matsuyama. This is his 10th year in a row making the BMW Championship, which is a record on the PGA Tour. Do you guys expect him to kind of have a solid weekend to kind of make it to Atlanta in the Tour Championship?
Jacob?
I think he'll have a solid weekend, but he's gonna have to like top 8 to get to the. I don't even know exactly how many points he has, but he's gonna have to jump. He's gonna have to finish at least top 10. I don't know, like I said, exactly the points wise what he would need, based on who's at 30th right now or whatever. But I expect him to show up and compete. I don't expect him to go out there and be like even 100, 200. I expect him to put up a solid number. So
Yeah, I think he's gonna. I mean, he's gonna need a hope and prayer, pretty much. I mean, um, 10 years in a row. Unfathomable. You know what I mean? That's 10 consecutive years of playing great golf at the highest level you can. Um, but yeah, I'm with Jake. I think you would need a top five, to be honest, to even be considered, you know, to make that top 30. So
Yeah, and if you think back to the FedEx tournament this past weekend in Memphis, he was 4 under through the last 5 holes in order to make it to the BMW. Had an eagle on hole 16, I believe it was, the par 5, one of the easier ones of the week. Um, but him and the guy ahead of him, Cameron Young, same situation. They both had historic tournaments at the end, or the at least final round, in order to make it to the BMW. And that's the thing about all these guys here. If they win, they're in pretty much, because you get 2,000 points. And we're kind of going to go up the list here. You'll see the number of points. Hideki's got 200 or 942 points total. Um, whereas 30th has 1,361. So you could jump up there pretty far if you win the tournament.
it,
Um,
yeah, yeah. I was just gonna say I'm looking at the points awarded now. If like say they stay around 1,300, you need like a top 5 finish to get points wise.
yeah,
So
yeah. And
you
that's
never know
assuming that the
though.
guys up front don't finish top 10 as well and get the same number of points, or if not close. Um, So it's very interesting here. So as we keep going, obviously Cam Davis, Brendan Todd, JT Poston, who's played well as of late. Go ahead. Go ahead.
That's what I was gonna say. That's my guy to watch. That's kind of farther back that could put up a score here. I mean, like you said, he's been playing very well of late. Finished second in the 3M Open, and I feel like he was top 10 the last two that he's had. I mean, or maybe not top 10, but top 15, top 10, 15. He's playing really good golf of late, and he needs it now more than ever to be able to get into this. And I mean, points wise, he's one of the first people that's going to be teeing off. So I feel like if he can play well on the first day and put up a number, I mean, who knows? He could get up there, especially being first on the course. As usually in golf, as later the day goes on, it kind of gets more difficult to score on most courses. So those early guys sometimes have an advantage whenever it comes to scoring wise.
That's right. That's right. That's a very good point there. The earlier the better here. And as you know, I'm looking at kind of the first couple tee times. That kind of brings me to my guy to watch here. Well, one of two guys that's on the outside looking in. Major champion Matt Fitzpatrick here. He's at 40th now. He's got an 8:37 a.m. Central tee time at the BMW. It is in Illinois, by the way. I don't think we mentioned that at the top. Bradley, I
Chicago.
assumed that was kind of your guy that I stole there. Is that right?
That is, yeah. I'm deeply afraid that we have the same two guys that we're going to talk about.
Probably.
Um, but yeah, Matt Fitzpatrick was my guy to be on the lookout for. Can I go ahead and say my second guy?
Go for it.
He's at 32nd, and it's Justin Rose. He had a pretty solid week last week. Had that pairing with he was with Scotty, right? On day 3. Anyways, doesn't matter. But he had a pretty solid weekend. Not in contention or anything, but he did have a really good weekend, and he's got that dog in him. He's been around for a long time. He knows what it takes to get it done. So
You know, I mean, if a man ties a course record on Saturday and shoots 9 under par, obviously something's working.
yeah.
So I definitely like that pick, but ours is not the same. Our second guy is not the same. Um, McLovin, start with your number one guy on the outside looking in here of the guys that we've kind of talked about. I guess JT Poston was maybe your first one.
Yeah, that's who mine was. To be honest with you, I don't really have a second guy. I had a few guys that were like inside the top 30 that I'm like, you better watch out for, that could fall out and that are kind of 25 to 30 range that haven't, have had a rough week last week. One of them did. A guy that's from around here, Sepp Straka. I think he actually finished okay, but he started out rough and ended up dropping I think like 9 or 10 spots. Because earlier in the year he had a top 10 finish in the Open that kind of vaulted him up, and then last week he had an okay week, not really a good one. He dropped, so it was him, and then I think it was Sam Burns who I had also that as obviously right on the cut line, you know. So I I don't know. I just can't. Him and Chris Kirk as well, because both of them were right there. Obviously, I mean, would you guys feel pressure if you're 30th? Going into this tournament, you gotta at least maintain your spot. I mean, let me know. I mean, I know Straka's older, so I don't know if he's played. How many he's played here before. But what do you guys think about that?
Well, I can tell
Well,
you
I know I
right
just threw a
now,
lot at you.
if I was sitting 30, my butthole would be puckered. You know what I mean? Every single putt I feel like is gonna be like, if you gotta have that I'm about to win a championship mentality for every single putt. You know what I mean? You can't go in there, you know, pushing your irons, or you got to be dialed in and ready to move up that ladder board. Do you guys want to do like a one that we think is gonna get in and a one that we think is gonna get out?
Since you guys have already given your one guy to make it in, and I've given kind of my Matt Fitzpatrick gig here, the second guy is going to be Lee Hodges, 3M Open champion from our hometown. That was just 2 short weeks ago, or 3 short weeks ago. Now he's gearing up. He's jumped from 74th all the way to 33rd after that win, and now he's dropped to 36. Really expect him to have a good week. My guy that's going to jump out, and it's very weird because it's a guy I really like. We were at the Players, and he was firing on all cylinders on the last round, made the most birdies ever in a row at the Players Championship, and that's Tyrell Hatton. I just haven't seen it as of late. The really, really solid golf, I just haven't seen it as of late. And because of that, I think he probably slots out. He's at the 26th spot right now. Um, less than 100 points separating him and 30th. So he's really got to be on his game. Bradley?
Birdie, don't hate me. My guy that's not going to make it to Atlanta is every Jason Day, baby.
Oh,
He's
no.
just he's just been playing, okay golf here. He shot two under, not two over, 2 under last week, which was, you know, I would take 2 under any day. But 2 under on the PGA, ain't gonna win you very many tournaments. He's at 21 right now. And I kind of just got a feeling he's just gonna go out there and throw an even score, throw a 1 under, a 2 under again. I hope I'm wrong, but that's my one guy who's not gonna make it to Atlanta.
Sad day.
I I have one as well. And now it may be kind of warm, and I have a feeling I'm going to get flamed from you guys. And I just hate to see this guy drop out, but it's Jordan Spieth for me.
Oh, Jacob.
Listen, over his last 6 tournaments, he's played good twice. He's been very inconsistent as of the last month or two when it comes to whole tournaments playing good. Like last week, he had a very good showing, a very solid stretch of golf. But I am afraid of his after effect. I think last time he finished top 10 in the tournament, the next tournament he missed the cut. Now, obviously, there's no cut, so it's fair game. But sitting at 27th right now, he had actually jumped in, and I just kind of I don't want to see him not make it, but just because of his past year, honestly, man. I mean, just not playing consistently and having miscuts after miscuts, and then he plays one good round and then he misses the cut in the next tournament. Inconsistency. I'm hoping I'm wrong. It may be kind of of a warm take, but I'm looking at Jordan Spieth here.
I disagree.
I
I do.
disagree.
I think he's got what it takes to win. He knows how to win. Some of these other guys. All right, now, if you go to the very top, John Rahm is still number one. Scotty Scheffler close second here. What is that? 150 points, give or take, separate 1 and 2 here. Scotty Scheffler had a chance to overtake John Rahm over his last 2 holes. He needed a birdie, and he would have overtaken him. John Rahm's played horrible golf as of late. It's really been sad to see. He's riding those 4 wins. That's the only reason why he's still number one. Now, you got to reward a guy who's played well, in the regular season. You got to reward him. But my question to you guys, does John Rahm stay atop the FedEx Cup standings heading into the Tour Championship to get that 10 under head start?
No chance.
No.
No, I mean even Rory's what 400 points back. I mean, I think either Rory or Scotty's going to take him over. You've said it, Jacob said it. and even I've said it, if Scotty Scheffler could putt, there's not a man on this planet that can beat him at golf.
Even Brooks
Monday
Koepka.
on the PGA Tour, Freddie, on the PGA Tour. I mean, 7 days a week, 24/7, 365 days in a quarter year. You know, ain't nobody beating Scotty Scheffler when he can make putts. So I don't know how he's so good with such a bad putter. Blows my mind. But I mean, whatever he's doing is working. So I do think Scotty will pass him up after this tournament. And even Rory had a really good tournament like this weekend. I mean, he ended up shooting a 14 under, and I want to say he was tied for third, right, or maybe solo third. But you know, that's my
Interesting.
take.
Jacob?
So we've seen the best of John Rahm this year. We've seen the worst of John Rahm this year. From 1 week shooting 21 under, the next week shooting 7 over. Obviously, different conditions in it. But to answer your question, I'm going to go with no, because I think he'll play good this week. I think he'll have a bounce back week. Obviously, the key is a start. The key is start for him, and it's really one of the Friday or Saturdays. His second, third round is usually, if he's playing good, he's going to shoot a low number one of those days. Obviously, not the first or the last, but one of those days he's going to go low. So, but to answer your question, yeah, I think Scotty's putting woes will continue. He'll make some putts, but I think John Rahm will stay number one.
Interesting. Interesting. So we have two different perspectives here. Scotty Scheffler will overtake John Rahm. That's what Bradley thinks, and Jacob thinks that John Rahm will stay where he is and have a good week. I'm going to be the complete opposite. I've got Rory overtaking him. Rory is a 3 times FedEx Cup champion. He knows what it means to start out with the advantage at 10 under par. Last year, I want to say he won because Scotty was number one last year and ended up shooting, I think, 2 over par at the Tour Championship. And Rory ended up winning. I think he started 7 or 8 under. So he started off with that 2 shot disadvantage and still won, even though it was very difficult. So I'm looking for Rory to overtake him. He's played some good golf here lately. Um, Even getting a win maybe a month and a half ago at the Scottish Open. Huge for him to get the ball rolling again this year, so I would not be surprised if he ended up number one heading into the Tour Championship. Guys, we're going to the Tour Championship. We will be in Atlanta for the Tour Championship. We may have a vlog coming out of us going, some footage of some players hitting. So who knows what the future holds, but guys, I appreciate you guys joining me. Is there anything else that you would like to add before we kind of wrap this thing up here?
Jacob?
It's a no for me.
Yeah, I think I left it all on the table. Jordan
Well,
Spieth will win the BMW Championship, so take that, Jacob.
yeah, and guess who's not there? Brooks Koepka. But anyways, guys, I appreciate you guys watching as Bradley's getting a little heated and fuming now after that comment. I appreciate you guys watching. We have more content coming soon. I promise we will not be gone for that long again. Thank you for all the support. And from the Fairway Files, that's it.